What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chaos. So, welcome to a new episode of Take It to the Table. I am joined by an esteemed table here. I'm taking one of Clark's words, but whatever, it is what it is. To my right is none other than the fabulous David Sheldon. How you doing today, sir?
I am good, thank you very much. It's quite nice, actually. Most of the stuff that we record for our daily broadcasts and even Take It are normally quite late in the evening. It's 2 p.m. here in the UK when we're filming this, which means that I can, I've got stuff to do after this. It's I know how the Americans feel. I'm very excited to be here. I'm very excited to talk Mr. Charles Montgomery Punk, and yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting. The more I look at it, the more I realize I desperately need a haircut. Desperately need a hair. It's getting bigger and it's getting puffier at the top. So it's getting larger and larger and larger. It's larger. And I'm just looking at it and going, yeah.
Trust me, if there's one place that will let you know how crazy your hair gets crazy, it is definitely on Wrestling Republic. Soul can definitely attest to that. When I first started doing Take It with him, he had like literally a level one haircut. And then when you fast forward to the Mania trip, it's just wild. So, and it's pretty much going like a full circle.
It's the joys of being autistic and living in the place where you don't normally live, where you don't want to get a haircut from anybody but your local. So you end up leaving it 3 months before you can go back. I go back to Wales in a few weeks, and I will get my haircut then. So you'll see a very different David in a few weeks' time.
Keyword few weeks. Trust me. Yeah, since I moved to Wales, it took me about 2 years so that I could find or trust a barber with my haircut. So I totally get what you mean. So yeah, that's all good. That's good. Welcome to the show, regardless. And of course, last but not least, down at the bottom is none other than the graceful, the glorious Soul. How you doing today, Soul?
I would add controversial in there as well, because why not?
That too. Oh yeah, I can't wait to go. That's why I wanted you, especially on this episode, because as you've probably seen from the thumbnail and obviously from the gear that I am wearing, is of course we're going to be talking about the polarizing, as David put it, Charles Montgomery Punk. I absolutely love that. That is actually pretty cool. Yeah, we're going to dive right in, obviously, regarding his return, his promo that he did on Monday Night Raw as well, and you know, everyone's thoughts of it, and also, you know, what matches would you love to see him in from the get-go, and you know, where could he go from here besides the obvious of a certain Seth freaking Rollins. So and of course we'll be joined after at some point Drizzy as well, who will be joining us at some point, so don't worry, so he'll be here. But other than that, make sure you grab some popcorn, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and without further ado, let us take it to the table. Oh yes. All right, cool. Let's get straight to it, shall we? So as of this recording, 3 days ago was the Survivor Series pay-per-view. Sorry, premium live event. It will get to me. Very solid pay-per-view, I must say. It was very fun, very enjoyable. But obviously everyone's talking about two major things: the return of a jacked up level 9,000 version of Randy Orton, and of course the surprising arrival of the one and only CM Punk. I just wanted to get and R-Truth, of course. Yes, of course. How could we forget about R-Truth? He was the best part of the night, of course. Triple H pretty much said it himself. So yeah, three great returns. And yeah, worthy of our attention as well. But yeah, I just wanted to get you guys. I know, David, you've dissected, you went into it on the daily, but we haven't had a chance to really speak about it. What was your thoughts? What was your reaction when you heard that static and the Cult of Personality playing through the speakers at the All-State Arena and Survivor Series? What was your thoughts, and what was going through your mind at the time?
Well, so first thing to say is that I'll be completely honest with you here, a terrible wrestling fan. I've still not seen all of Survivor Series. And the reason I haven't seen all of Survivor Series is because I have to, the way that it works in the UK is because obviously everything runs very early in the morning. I have to wake up and review, because I am Wrestling Republic's AEW reviewer. I will wake up very early in the morning to watch the shows. I couldn't watch Survivor Series because I had a Collision Rampage double bill to talk about for Wrestling Republic, and then I had to go and do other things. And I've not had 5 minutes in my day so far to sit down and actually watch the whole show. I've seen bits of it, and I definitely have seen the Punk return. Of course, I've seen Orton's return. I've seen most of the men's War Games match. I've seen all the big talking points from the show, but I haven't seen the whole show. With that said, I woke up Sunday morning. I turned on my phone, and immediately I was flooded by people who had sent me, wrestling friends that I have, who'd sent me the Punk return because they knew I was going to get angry. And angry I got. I saw that Punk had came back, and I had a pile of washing in the corner, and I launched my phone full of pelt into the pile of washing before letting out some sort of guttural, like, kind of just angry up. I found it very difficult to then watch Collision because I was so irritated. My thoughts on Punk, I should say that first. Maybe that's getting ahead of myself. I have loved Punk a lot of my wrestling life. I mean, I started watching wrestling in 2011. But I didn't really get into it. I kind of missed a lot of the pipe bomb stuff. I was very casual. I only really got into it like 2012, 2013, sort of late era Punk. WWE champion Punk was a lot of my early experiences of wrestling. And then 2014 he was gone, and then I could go back and see a lot of his older stuff. And I think he's an unbelievable talent, terrific on the microphone, terrific in the ring. So excited when he came to AEW. Really loved most of the stuff that he did there. And then Brawl Out happened, and then it all kind of fell apart. He came back, and I was excited to see him back for the second time. Felt like he should have probably been fired the first time. But I was like, okay, well, he's come back, second chances, whatever, fine. Gave the same thing to others. And then the weekend of All In was the breaking point. The Brawl In thing was the breaking point. I had come to All In. I really needed just a really good night of wrestling, which I got because All In was fantastic. And it was the same week that Bray had passed away, which hit me horrendously hardly, and I was in quite a bad place, and I had such a good night of wrestling, and nobody talked about it because all anyone could talk about was the childish antics of Punk. And so I had no desire to see him back in wrestling. I wanted him to just go away and leave me alone. I didn't want to see him. I didn't want to hear from him. I just wanted him to get out of the public eye. But I knew that was never going to last, and I knew he was going to come back. Very surprised he came back to WWE. Intrigued that he's come back to WWE. I'll be honest, as I've said on the daily, it's like a toxic ex. You don't want them there, but damn it, you see them and that perverse interest comes back into your head, and you just want to see where it goes. I was really angry, but it has subsided over the last couple of days, and it's given way into more of a kind of passive, well, we'll see where it goes idea with Punk. I certainly don't like hold any. The resentment I held for him isn't what it was now that I've kind of seen him again, but it's still there, and I think there's a lot to dissect. We'll get into when we get into the promo and everything like that, and the reasons he's come back, and I don't necessarily think they're for the right reasons. Mm-hmm. But I can't do anything about it. My voice isn't going to change anything. So he's back now. So, and considering all he really has done is start a couple of fights, it's not like somebody's coming back who I have a deep moral obligation, it's not like Alberto Del Rio's come back. Then I'd have some major. Then I'd be actively, opposed. With Punk, he's just annoyed me,
right?
And he's kind of did a lot of damage to a company that I care deeply about because I review them weekly, and so. To me, it was childish and spiteful, and I think the reasons for coming back childish and spiteful. But I am intrigued to see where it goes, and the more he's there, the more intrigued I'm getting, and I feel like it's going to end in disaster. But it's like a car crash you can't look away from.
No, fair enough. So you and 20 people were the only ones that watched Collision and Rampage on Saturday. No, I'm joking. I'm playing.
Do you know what? Genuinely, wouldn't surprise me. Really boring show for the most part. Nothing happened. Watch the first half an hour and the last half an hour of Collision. They're good. The rest of it is just nothing. FTR versus the Righteous. Why? Why put that on my television?
Fair dues. So yeah, I agree. I guess it is a love-hate situation. I can totally understand you being having a little little rampage when you saw your phone being flooded with his return and whatnot. Were you also angry that you couldn't see it live, or are you happy you didn't see it live?
I'm happy I did, but I would have gone nuts if I'd seen it live. and then I wouldn't have been able to sleep because I
Right.
would have. I mean, it is one of the biggest moments, and like I watched the first dance promo live. I saw that live, and that was a really exciting moment for me. And I'm more gutted I missed Randy's return live, to be honest, because the stuff like the RKO off the cage and stuff like that. I'd have loved to have seen that live, but like it was a really awesome moment. I was just like, yeah, but I've seen it now. Punk. My reaction was more when Punk came back this time. But again, there is that sort of perverse thing of, but if I'd have been there live, it could have been. I kind of missed a bit of wrestling history, but I've missed so much wrestling history; it doesn't really bother me.
Okay, fair enough. No, I hear that. That's it. No, that's fair. That's a fair take. That's a fair take. So obviously, everyone knows that you used to be an avid CM Punk fan. Loved his work in AEW. Obviously, pretty much with a majority of people up until Brawl Out. And then you were willing to give him somewhat of a second chance, and then obviously All In happened, and then we all know what happened there. What was your thoughts? What was your take when you saw them actually showing up at the Allstate Arena, and that what's your whole thoughts about this, and what was your genuine initial reaction as well?
First of all, I'm pretty sure Anthony Ricciardi, the opinion writer, was probably laughing his ass off because I was so against it, and fair play to him, he got it. But I think I need to get into the right headspace for this whole thing. So got some of these bad boys to help.
He's gone off the script. Oh no, he hasn't gone off script. There we go. Oh my God, it's 2:00 in the afternoon. Oh my God.
That's a good line.
Oh my God. A drinking connoisseur over here. I'm over here, everybody. Oh my God.
He looks like Gareth Southgate after the World Cup.
Yeah.
So I'm really nourishing that lemon. That was really good.
Please don't do a Mitchell, please.
I know, I'll fill that. Do laugh a bit.
I didn't even hear what he said, but fair enough.
What were we talking about again?
Damn it.
Dante Martin's return. We're on Dante Martin's return.
Fucking stellar. I can't wait. More Top Flight. That's going to be an absolute banger. I mean, what they'll do, I don't know, but it'll be refreshing.
Yeah, and also, on top of that, CM Punk's return. Your thoughts, please.
Oh, what he did. So I didn't watch Survivor Series live because I had work, right? So I woke up 6 a.m. from my shift, and I immediately knew if I went to Instagram, something happened, would have been flooded on it. So I decided to go to Reddit instead. And I saw on the r/squared circle, WWE return, right? So I clicked on it thinking, that's probably Punk. It was R-Truth. So I laughed, and I was like, oh, that's funny. Then I saw one on top of it. I was like, oh, who's this? And I saw Punk. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. So, yeah, Chaos is right that, I was a big Punk fan. Obviously, I got into wrestling in 2019, so I saw none of him in WWE. I learned all about him afterwards. Oh, excuse me, fighting back now. And just seeing everything he'd done after WWE, like, the movies he did, The Girl on the Third Floor and Jacob's Wife, and also being a writer for Marvel with the Drax comics. So it was a very interesting thing to me to learn about who he was. And it sort of seemed like that wrestling mythos, like, oh, there was this talented guy, then he's gone for 8 odd years and no one was expecting him to come back. But I feel then with AEW, I felt like it was like, if anyone can make it happen, it's these guys, because they're the alternative. They're like the rising star now, and they can make dreams come true. They do what can't be done within the business. And I remember when the Fyter Fest happened, I think it was before that, there was like a little leaks from the dirt sheets, like, oh, Punk's in discussion with AEW's. Then I saw the Fyter Fest, and then the first dance was announced, and Darby did that promo, and you're like, I'll take on anyone, even if you think you're the best in the world, and everyone was losing their collective shit. I stayed up till 3 a.m. to watch that Rampage, watched it, Punk return, I absolutely loved it, and I thought, yeah, this is it. loved everything he'd done, and then All Out happened, and I completely soured on the guy. I thought he was childish. I thought he was an absolute prima donna. Like I have no care about CM Punk, Phil Brooks, whatever. You know, the guy has more money that I'll ever see in my lifetime, and you know what? Fair play to him. He wants to work the business and get the money. That hey, that's fine by me. Why do I think he's gone to WWE? I'll say it's one thing. I bet in Punk's mind after the All Out match when he knew he was hurt that he couldn't go for long. And I think the one thing that WWE can offer him that AEW couldn't and any other place is a Legends contract. If you look at those contracts, you know, you get to do so much for WWE, you get paid a lot, merch and all that, and that's something a lot of legends now can easily rest on and know that that paycheck's coming in. And with Punk, I feel like his Legends contract will be the most beneficial out of all of them, even more than Hogan or Austin, I think, just with him in general. I don't care that he's back in WWE. I'm not going to watch Raw or SmackDown or NXT or anything like that. I don't have a lot of time to spare, and I give it all to AEW. I mean, that's what I like. AEW got me into wrestling, so I continue to watch them as a product. For the Punk fans are happy to see him back, cool, that's fine. I will say, though, what Triple H said on the press conference, you know, if you're the same person you were 10 years ago, then it's on you. I fully agree with that. I mean, I will just say as well, you know, when he debuted in AEW, everyone was happy to see him. Backstage lights were good. Maybe history will repeat itself, and that won't be the same 8 months down the line. Just saying.
I mean, they had the potential to be a bit different. I mean, this is a new era. This is a new regime. I'm pretty sure that if Vince was still in power, and him and John Laurinaitis, the chances of him actually coming back, I think that would be very quite slim in my opinion. So you may actually enjoy it there, you know, and it's a different locker room as well for the most part, as well. So
I feel like he's not there for the wrestling. He's not there for whatever. He's there out of spite. He's out there because he's petty and he wants to get back.
I mean, he said it at the end of his promo. He said he's not here to make friends. He's here to make money, which we'll get into with his promo. I just want to ask you guys this. I know you said that he's looking to be there he wants to get a Legends contract and whatnot, which fair enough. I mean, you're set for life pretty much when you have one of those. Is it also the fact that, forget him as a person, do you think maybe in his head he wants to give a sort of definitive, satisfying end to the CM Punk's character? Because the character as him, like, forget him as a person, his character is legendary, like, within the wrestling industry. Do you feel like he just he wants to give a satisfying end to his character, and the best place to do it is on, quite frankly, the biggest stage, which is the WWE? What do you think, David? Do you think?
Yeah, probably. I do think the thing is, I'm not convinced by this whole. I've heard people say, "Oh, it was his plan all along." I disagree. I disagree with that. I think that his plan was to come back to AEW and be there and lead the charge where everyone loved him and he was great. And as soon as they soured on him, they went, right, well, screw you then. You know, if you're not gonna let me do what I want to do, I'll go to your competition. That's how I feel. The thing is, we'll never know because we don't know what's going on inside the head of Punk. We don't know what's going on inside his head. We're only speculating, which is very, very difficult to do. Especially with somebody like Punk, who is very erratic in his thoughts and you know, is sometimes quite hard to read, even despite being one of the more open people. You know, all of his social media posts and everything like that. I think he does it on purpose. But yeah, I think that there is an element of wanting to kind of end the character, but I think that's more because he got fired more than because he wanted to go, like, this was always his plan, was to go back to WWE and end it on the biggest stage. I think it's because he ended walking out of Wembley as a champion. That was his end in AEW, in fairness, and then but obviously I think he wants a bit more positive spin on his final moments rather than, you know, he had a fight with somebody backstage and they sacked him. You know, they kind of, that's not going out in a blaze of glory, really, is it?
No, of course. Well, what about you, Saul? What do you think? Do you think that's his reason, not just for the Legends contract, but a more definitive end?
Nah, I don't think he gives a shit. I honestly don't. I think he's just there out of spite. I think in Punk's mind, he was fully contemplated on leaving AEW when the Elite re-signed. I fully expected that. I honestly think, like in my crazy world, I honestly think Punk, when he saw the Elite re-signed, he was like, "This is just going to cause more hassle and shit. So I don't really want to be here and all this crap." I honestly wouldn't have been surprised if he thought the Elite were going to run out of AEW and think he could be the head honcho there because he's just the legend in his mind, and everyone has to obey his fucking laws and shit like that. I mean, it's fucking bullshit. I mean, honestly, like you see it, like even I can see the pettiness. Honestly, like if you look at his Instagram, right, when he was in AEW, he did no collaborative posts. He never posted on his main page like, oh, AEW's here, I'm gonna be here, Collision's coming here. As soon as he's back in WWE, collaborate post with WWE, his return, promo and all that. Why was there none of that for AEW? Why couldn't he, like, and if that's a part of the marketing team, then that's a massive fuck up right there. That's easily a big fuck up. But I doubt it when I can see people like Brian, the Bucks, and all the Dark Order guys, and even Abaddon, who's not on TV a lot, would still post like the show's coming here. I'm not going to be on it, but I'm still posting about the show. It's going to be here. This is what's happening. This is the match card. And Punk did none of that. Easily, I think when he went into AEW, the first couple of months, people treated him like, like the legend and the person you have to take advice from and follow their guide to how wrestling should be. And then when people were like, not really, I've done independence, so I kind of want to do it my way, he probably got massive butt hurt by that. And it was sort of like, well, if you're not going to listen to me and I'm the big dog, then what's even the point of doing it? I feel like, and you can look back on Punk's entire career, he's wanted to be the locker room leader. He wanted to be the guy that everyone comes to and gets the questions and be the prime example of what a professional wrestler should be. But at the end of the day, he is just a prima donna. And I can't stand fucking internet fans as well that are like, oh, Punk's been away for like 10 years and now he's finally back. And it's like, he was on the other fucking channel for the last near enough 3 years, headlining one of the biggest wrestling events of all time. And now you're acting like he's been out of the zeitgeist for like all that time. Look at that shite. And I just can't stand how all this crap, and it's just like, oh yeah, now you're in the WWE environment, you're in the top leagues now, and it's sort of like all those people are just like, well, I just care about WWE. Like that's fair. I only really focusedly care about AEW, but I'll still go and watch the other shows if I can. I'll even go support my own local independents. And when you've got those kind of fans that don't support the other fields and the local independents and just go for the big leagues, then what are you building? You're not focusing around the people who are going to be rising up and becoming those big stars for the big leagues. No, you're just focusing on the top and not the foundations that build to that top.
Fair, yeah, of course. No, I hear that. Is it because a lot of, I think that's also proof that I'm going to ask you, do you think it's also proof that a lot of WWE fans, they literally have their head in the sand? Maybe they act, I wouldn't say they haven't heard about AEW, but they might have thought that when CM Punk came back, it might have been like a one night kind of thing, and just not really paying any mind to him, because it does feel like even Punk again in this promo does kind of feel like he was gone for like almost 10 years and nothing happened in between.
Yeah,
it was kind of weird. That's what we're getting. Go on, David.
Well, I think that plays nicely into WWE's philosophy, which is things that, for the most part, don't happen outside of WWE, which sometimes does make you look like clowns as a company, because it doesn't make you look like you are literally putting the blinders on. But I don't necessarily think I genuinely don't think it's a bad decision to do it in WWE with Punk. As much as it kind of creates some very hypocritical statements, which we'll get to in the promo. Like, Punk is baggage. He's got so much baggage behind him. But that baggage, there's WWE baggage with the Colt Cabana interview and with all those things, and then there's AEW baggage. So if you can eliminate as much of that baggage as possible out of Punk by saying, look, we can't ignore what happened in WWE, really, but we can ignore what happened in AEW because that was a different company. So pretend they didn't happen. I think that it's not necessarily the most for like satisfying thing as a fan, because it does create loopholes and hypocrisy, but at the same time, as a company, I think it makes sense. The other thing I was going to say was, it's gone straight out of my head. What was the first question, Chaos? I remember what the first question was.
Repeat the question, please.
It was
WWE fans and who only watch that product. My thing's always been with wrestling fans. I have absolutely no problem whatsoever if wrestling fans only watch WWE. That's and don't follow wrestling outside of that. That it's a casual audience. That's absolutely fine. Where my problem comes in is when people who do that then feel entitled to talk about other wrestling shows that they don't watch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right, yeah.
So that's where the tribalism comes in of, oh, I hate AEW, it's rubbish. Have you watched it? No. And that's where if people only want to watch and if Punk's coming in and people want to pretend like he's only been there, it's not doing anybody any harm, is it? It's like for us who, it's ignorant, but it's like, that's fine. It's, as long as people don't then say, oh, he's so much better here than he was in AEW, when you then don't acknowledge that he was, do you know what I mean? Like, if people want to just keep their head in the sand, then more power to them. If they only watch one thing, I try and keep up with as much football as possible, but really I only watch the Premier League.
Yeah, same.
I acknowledge that there's a Spanish league, and I know who's in it, but I don't watch it. And so I would never sit there and go, oh, the Premier League's so much better than La Liga, because I don't watch La Liga. But there should be some level of acknowledgement of who plays in that division, if you get me.
Yeah.
Of course, of course.
I'll say one final thing as well before we have our Royal Rumble entrant come in here. I feel like with WWE, their fans are easily divided into a few categories. It's people who lived through the Attitude Era, because they're fighting back. The Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era, and people that kind of hopped on in this modern era through John Cena, The Rock, and Batista being the movie stars they are. I feel like it's those three categories. Because at the end of the day, what WWE has over AEW and TNA and New Japan and All Japan and Noah and the local indie in your backyard, it's time. They've been around since forever. They've been around since films were in black and white and people loved Betamax over VHS. It's been that long. And when I agree with David on a lot of points as well. Like, if you just want to watch WWE, like I just mostly watch AEW, that's fine. Like, I don't actively shit on something like NXT. Like, I've seen like Chase U on, and I think they're very entertaining, so I kind of like that. But I don't go out of my way to say I don't like what was it Laya Valkyrie is as champion, because I've not seen any of her matches, or I've not seen her championship reign. I've just not seen it, so I'm not going to comment on it. But when I went onto the fucking AEW Instagram, and I thought, oh, here we go. And all the comments were basically just punk gifts, like, TK, you fucked up, TK, you fucked up. And it's like, what gives you the fucking right to just go at this guy who basically gave you an alternative? And that's the thing, is AEW is an alternative. You don't want to watch WWE some nights, you can watch AEW, you can watch TNA. It's the fucking elitism that I absolutely fucking hate about wrestling. Because at the end of the day, the wrestlers themselves, they're probably fat friends, and some people are like married to other companies. You look at Malachi Black and Selena Vega, and Buddy Murphy and Rhea Ripley, and like, people have got families across these companies and shit, and I just cannot fucking stand it. Because that's why I hated the Punk return more than anything, because you're going to get the elitist fans who have, the fucking 400 kilogram pot bellies and their 600 replica titles and just absolutely snorting and smarking away. Like, I told you this is going to be the best thing ever. And then I'm just sitting there like, all right, cool. Like, here's the thing. Like, I know I have a wrestling interview show. I know I have wrestling title belts and signed turnbuckles that have signed me up the wazoo. But it's funny, like, you might disagree with this. I consider myself a casual fan at the end of the day. And why I do that is because I switch off. Okay? When the wrestling's on, I enjoy it and all that, and I'm really into it and I study it. When I have guests on, I'll do the research. I'll go into their history, their cage match profile, and do all that. But as soon as that's done, like, I'm switched off. I'll go enjoy something else. Exactly. Like, I'll go do something else that will entertain me, mostly drinking at this point in stage of my life. But some people don't switch off. And I hate that. When you focus something in your life 24/7, are you really you? Or are you just like an extension of this company and product and this mindset? Like, guys, switch the fuck off sometime and see the sun, and then maybe, you might actually have a
Touch
good
grass.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, I totally get that. You spoke true facts there. I can't really complain. Also, I'll just for the record, the Premier League is better than La Liga. But anyway, moving on. I'm joking. Of course, as we said, joining us at some point is of course the legendary, the one and only Drizzy. Hey, how you doing today, sir?
I am cashing in money in the bank on this episode. I am
Okay,
here now.
Drizzy, the floor is yours, my son. On you go.
Yes, welcome to the show, Drizzy. Better late than
Thank
never, but it's all good. You're wearing the wrong shirt. You're supposed to be wearing it's a punk themed show. What's going on, man?
He's
So
saving his money.
I stopped being a punk fan when he left the first time. So all the punk stuff I got is way too small for me. It would look like a crop top on me at this point in time. Like, yeah, think about it, that was 10 years ago. So
Yeah.
I was significantly smaller than what I am now.
Was that before you had kids, or
It was before. Yes, it was before I had kids.
yeah, that makes sense.
My oldest child is 10. He left when my oldest child was born. Yes.
Oh, fair enough. They'll do it to you. Anyway,
Oh my God, almost a year to that. He left at the Royal
Jesus.
Rumble. My son was born Valentine's Day of that year.
Oh, fair dues. Oh, there you go then. Fair enough. So hopefully, yeah, you might be able to fit back in that at some point. Now that Punk's back, it's because of Punk. That's why he was that size. So who knows?
So Punk's gonna
Yeah.
slim. Punk's gonna make me slim now. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you should have another kid just to commemorate the event.
No.
Good choice.
Those things are expensive, and I got 3 of them.
Facts. But yeah, welcome to the show as always, Drizzy. And of course, like I said, we're talking about Punk, and just before I move on to the next segment, obviously I didn't really get a chance to gauge what your thoughts were when you heard the theme music play after the end of Survivor Series. First off, did you watch Survivor Series? What was your thoughts of it, and what was your thoughts of the return, and also just your genuine thought of him being back to WWE?
Survivor Series was a very good show. I have no complaints, quarrels, quims, or anything about it. It's just like anybody who's been watching WWE for more than 5 or 10 years. The Punk music in the WWE arena, absolutely, it pops you. Whether you're a fan or not, you're just like, oh, can I cuss on here?
Yeah, of course you can.
I was like, oh shit, my bad.
I'm here. Of course you can fucking curse.
I'm used to daily rules. I'm sorry. I was like, oh shit, like it's Punk. Like I actually yelled it out loud, and my kids look like, huh? Like, don't worry about me. don't look at me. And as I explained it, like my wife even was like, oh my God, is that CM Punk in a WWE ring? Like, yeah, hell froze over. Like it is freezing down there right now. But ultimately, we say it all the time in WWE. You never say never. We make the jokes all the time. It's like people are different in times. He's a completely different person than what he was 10 years ago. They were able to come to a conclusion where, like, you know what, we can make money together. And ultimately, it's good for business because everybody, I promise you, everybody that watched Raw absolutely watched the entire show to see what Punk had to say. And I'm pretty sure that did great numbers against a mediocre NFL game. It was very mediocre. That was strategically planned because if it was last week, it definitely wouldn't have been like that.
Yeah.
But it's good for business. Me myself, like I said, I feel like I've kind of grown out of Punk, but I still acknowledge that it's good for business. It's gonna create some good stories. You're gonna get some dream matches. We're gonna see possibly see AJ and Punk at one point in time, maybe Seth and Punk. An updated Seth and Punk and an updated not Seth, Roman and Punk, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good for business.
100%. I do feel like we're going to see AJ probably in the Rumble. I think everyone's been, even before this stuff was even existence about CM Punk actually showing up. I think there was always talk of, I think almost every year there's a chance that AJ may show up in the Rumble, which is cool. I'd rather that than doing some hokey AJ Lee and Seth against Seth and Becky Lynch.
Please don't do that again. Don't do that again. That's one of those things.
AJ and Seth versus Seth and Becky Lynch. Craig, you've got two on both sides of the.
My bad.
Yeah, on both sides of the ring.
That's AJ overload.
Nah, boo, Chaos. No, I want Punk and AJ versus Otis and the Maxine model lassie. Get that?
No. That's such a Vince book. No. I wouldn't. No. And see Maxine do the worst cat pillar ever. No, I'm good.
Hey, those people love that. They love her.
I know she's great.
She has this aura that just everybody loves. So.
It's weird. It's weird, but yeah, she's cool. I ain't gonna lie. She's cool. She's cool. I think it's because like you actually seeing her grow in front of you. Like that sounds so weird. You know what I mean?
You know what I really want to see, and I don't know if Punk is Raw exclusive. And I know this will come on to dream matches later. I don't want to see the match as much as I want to see the promo of not Maxine Dupree, but Max Dupree, aka LA Knight.
Yes,
LA Knight and CM Punk on the microphone will be amazing.
Yeah. And there's so many other crossovers that definitely like that. We have to get an updated Miz Punk promo.
Yes,
because Miz is light years nowhere near what he was 10 years ago.
Tell you what, if I was Triple H, I would book Miz and Punk in Saudi just so Miz can reference the Punk tweet about suck a blood covered Saudi dick.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, they got beef, don't it? Yeah.
They actually
that's where we'll get into.
I think they squashed that beef though. Because if you remember, sometime earlier this year, he showed up at a Raw, and he actually said, I know they said that he talked with Miz. So hopefully they're in a better place now that they can do some work, because that definitely is must-see TV.
Yeah, 110%. I'm very surprised there wasn't like a WWE meeting backstage before the show or anything for him to actually apologize and whatnot. But yeah, it looks like everyone's
apologize. CM Punk.
That's true.
Not CM Punk.
Yeah, that's one thing I've never.
This CM, but that one. Yeah, no, he's not apologizing for anything.
I've never heard a Punk apology ever.
My bad. To be fair, I thought he was actually going to do it last night, but obviously he did not. So yes, it is what it is.
He apologized to AEW fans when he came back. He did apologize to them when he came back the very first time in 2021.
Yes,
I'm sorry, and he did in this one by saying, "I'm sorry I was away so long." But
yeah.
Like that's not the apology we're after, really, is it?
No. Of course not. Okay then. Well, so going back to his promo last night, everyone was dying to see what he was going to say. Was he going to do some subliminals, go directly against the competition and whatnot? But to be fair, I think everyone could agree that he played it safe. In his promo, he said it was a bit corny at some parts. It kind of was, he said that AJ's safe, she's fabulous and all that. And then he's also saying that he's back home. This is where he belongs and whatnot. And then right at the end, he pretty much contradicted all of that when he said in the camera, "I'm not here to make money. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money." And that just plays right into the field of what Seth Rollins said, that is an absolute hypocrite, which he's also right in saying. Because we saw numerous times, even shortly after it, I think he did an interview with Chris Van Vliet somewhere, and he basically said never ever coming back, ever coming back to wrestling and whatnot. He came back to wrestling in 2021, and now he's back here. So I wanted to get your thoughts on the comparisons. I guess it's pretty much night and day. Which one do you think was more impactful? Which one was more meaningful? Which one do you appreciate more? His return promo last night or the one back at the first dance? We'll start with Soul, please, if you will.
I wonder what Soul's going to say.
I know.
Let me get my mindset right again.
He's been drinking all episode, Drizzy. It's not new. It's fine. It's not fine, but you know what I mean.
Hey, it's drinking time somewhere. Drink for me.
I think his
I
Raw promo was neutered because of 3 simple letters. NDA. Yeah. I fully think Punk knows if he does anything to mention AEW in a negative light, then Tony Khan's going to drop the fucking god of lawsuits upon the man. Because, like, going to your question originally, the first dance promo was way better. Obviously, it's the first time he really came back and he was actually real in it. This just feels like WWE scripted promo work and simple. Like, I'm good guy. I'm here to say good things and then get a cheer and go away. Excuse me. I really like. I walked like so originally. Like I read the promo. Like someone did a transcript and I was like, all right, cool. Then I watched it and I was just very like, Like I really just, I honestly just don't really care. Like. It's just weird. Like it does feel off in ways. Like I don't feel like he's being like the Punk would be. Yeah, I feel like this is what Max said. I feel like this is PG Punk saying all the company stuff that he can do to get into the right books. And another thing as well, I hate the fucking version of Cult of Personality they're using as well. I hate that version.
You don't like the remastered one? Oh wow.
Yeah. I think it's shit. I prefer the actual good version. Like this, someone said it was like, oh, it's kind of reminds me of like Guitar Hero 3, and I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. I mean, that's a fair enough game as well in itself, but I just hate that version as well. Like, I feel like, I mean, honestly, like this is just shooting things into the verse here. If Punk ever does get too cocky and makes AEW look very bad, like say if he does Anthony's idea of bringing the bag out. I would fully love to see Tony Khan just be like calling up Wembley and like release the footage. And then you get to see what Mr. Phil Brooks is really like when the cameras are off.
Yeah, he got put in a headlock by Jack Perry. He was the one that put him in a headlock. Fair dues. What about you, Drizzy? What was is it night and day for you? Do you feel like what was your thoughts on his return promo? And how does it compare to his first dance promo?
I like the first dance promo way better than the one that we got last night. It seemed more that one was more genuine. It was more I'm home, I'm happy to be back. And overall, it just you just feel it more in your heart. Last night felt more of an angle. It felt scripted for what you get out of a scripted punk promo. Like they give him the direction. This is where you're going with it, and it really does feel like it's more. We're going straight to work. Yeah, I know everybody wants to hear what I have to say, and he said a lot without saying anything.
Yeah, that's the best way.
So it's a great way to draw a story out, and I do believe it's been a while. Like. AEW, we did get long stories, but we only got like really one really long-term story. Punk is good in long-term stories, and I think this is just getting him back into the groove of things with that.
Fair enough, fair dues. Yeah, I think definitely this felt like manufactured, even though he used to say before that, anytime they gave him a script or bullet points, he just shreds it up, throws away, and then just comes up with whatever he says. But yeah, this one definitely felt like he was definitely playing it safe, and he just wants to probably get a feel of the land because obviously the landscape has changed since he was last there. So yeah, maybe he was kind of playing it safe. He didn't make no acknowledgement to Seth or Seth's antics after War Games. Or to Randy. Yeah, even though he's setting up an angle, we still kind of don't know what angle it's because he didn't say anything of any substance like going for anybody. So it was only Seth that was doing it. So
he went textbook Bray Wyatt. We're saying everything, but not saying anything. It's an illusion.
Don't say
And
that. David's gonna get tripped. Doing a good.
But what's wild is those are my favorite promos. But last night it probably would have been a low one on me, and I think it's just
Yeah.
because it's from him, and it's the first time he spoke in a WWE capacity in a while.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
just like, yeah, we're going straight to work. I'm doing this angle basically. So
Well, don't say that to Kobe because he gave it 4.5 stars on the Wrestling Republic scale. So yeah,
what?
you thought it was the bee's knees. Yeah, 4.5 out of 5. Yeah, that's Kobe.
God, we gotta show Kobe. We gotta show Kobe some
David?
CM Punk from 2006 or something.
What about you, David? What's what?
I wasn't.
Go on.
Go on.
No, go. I was going to ask you the same question.
I was just about to say, I too was surprised at 4.5 stars. The thing is, I think that they were in a lose-lose situation with Punk generally because I didn't want to see him rip into AEW. I get no pleasure out of that. But the alternative is to do this, which is bland, boring, kind of. Actually, bland, boring is what it was fine. There were still points that were hit. I mean, him calling it home was it all rings hollow, and I think that's the point. I think it's supposed to because I think that's where they're going to go with this Punk and Rollins feud.
Yeah,
and I think that's the point, and I do think the Punk is probably going to go heel.
Yeah. That's what I think that would be the best. That would be the best thing. That's what I was going to ask the next question as well. Do you think he's deliberately being a hypocrite in this kind of thing? So yeah,
I do think he's deliberately being a hypocrite. But what I will say is I do think Punk will be exactly as Drizzy said. Punk will be better when he's got a story to sink his teeth into, because when he doesn't have this cloud hanging over his head, the AEW stuff hanging over his head, all the expectations, all the way. That's the problem when you're a figure like Punk, is you generate interest like nobody else. You've also got to deliver on that interest, and you kind of get caught into catch-22s and lose-lose situations where you kind of built yourself into a corner, and I think that's an example of what's happened here. But I do think that once Punk gets wrestling again and being kind of, what I really don't want to see him do when Bray came back, his first promo was incredible, and then he had to say the same thing week on week on week on week because they didn't actually have anywhere for it to go for a while. I hope that doesn't happen with Punk. I hope that they have got somewhere that they're going, which it seems to be the Rollins feud, and they just start it now. Exactly as Ridley said, let's just get to work. Let's get on with it. Let's not let's not revel too much in, what he did do. Let's just move on. And it's really hard to do that with Punk. It's really hard to do that because he comes with so much baggage. But when you're comparing the First Dance promo to it's night and day First Dance. It's obviously the better promo because it felt like it was coming from a real person. It felt like it was coming from, somebody putting on a corporate smile, which I actually think, again, I think that's the point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting one, I think.
I hear that. Yeah, definitely. Okay then. So I think it's pretty much evident of how we feel about the promo at last night, which I agree with pretty much all of you. Like, it was not his finest moment, and yeah, he just played it safe, and yeah, we'll just see where it goes from there. I think it's more, you don't want it to be. Unfortunately, I'm going to say it, but you don't want it to be a Bray Wyatt situation where he starts with a lot of momentum, and then if he's doing if it's week after week after week of nothing progressing, which I don't think is going to happen. They know what they have in WWE knows what they have in their hands right now with CM Punk, and yeah, if he's got something that is going to evolve, culminate somewhere major down the line, which if it's going to be at Mania, I don't know how they're going to stretch it, because even though Mania is only in April, I mean that's 3 months to really keep the momentum going for it to ultimately be at
Punk in the Rumble.
I'm thinking it might be the Rumble.
I think if you put Punk in the Royal Rumble, and that's a great opportunity to have him interact with a bunch of people he may not interact with otherwise, which would be fun. It'd be exciting as a wrestling fan, because despite my thoughts on the man himself, there's loads of people I want to see him fight in WWE. Same as there was loads of people I wanted to see him fight in AEW. So, and I think putting him in the Rumble will give it that will be really entertaining. But he won't.
We gotta get that.
Sorry,
my bad. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that, I don't think he'll win the Rumble. Although he could. Actually,
Yeah.
he could win the Rumble.
I said since this is back, I think he's a strong favorite to go win the Rumble.
Because Cody, I don't think Cody's winning the Rumble 2 years
I don't
in a
think.
row.
I think he's gonna get his match. He's gonna get his match against Reigns at Elimination Chamber. I think.
I still think it'll be Mania, but I think he will.
No, that's what I mean. I think
he'll
he's
win his match
chamber.
through a chamber. Yeah,
he'll earn it.
Yeah.
But
I think Punk could win the Rumble. It's basically I'm doing a fantasy booking thing right now where I'm like rebooking an entire company. So basically it's basically like a Dungeons and Dragons creative exercise that we've done for a while, but we've rebooted it recently, and I jinxed it because I'm taking over WWE and I drafted CM Punk the night before he debuted.
Oh, you're booking this. You're booking this.
Yeah, I'm booking with this idea of I really don't want to see him, but it's fantasy. Let's have a bit of fun. But anyone who's part of this fantasy booking series who's watching this video, look away now because I'm about to spoil something that I'm about to book. But the way I'm booking Punk in my company is I'm having him as basically a hijacking force coming into the company, and kind of riding off the fans' momentum to force WWE to give him a spot in the Rumble. They give him a spot in the Rumble. He gets to the final. He comes in at number 30. He's in the final 2 of the Rumble against Orange Cassidy, who's been in his number 1 because I've drafted him as well. Cassidy extends a handshake. He steps once, steps twice, and knees him in the balls. And the whole thing with Punk is, I came back because you wanted me so badly, but thanks for that, because now I've got a contract and I really don't care about you, but now I'm going to take that title just to spite you all. And that hypocrite Punk. So I'm hoping that they go a similar way with this kind of, I'm only on your side as long as it benefits me. I'm here to make money. I'm here to make money.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Cool. So I do think it's Punk and Rollins at Mania, and I think that should be the story, because Rollins is so integrally linked to WWE. He's such an integral part of that company that I do think he's such a WWE guy and such a kind of force for it that I do think Punk coming in, like, let him have his return pops, let everyone be happy to see him, and then let people boo him.
Mm-hmm.
Let you just go full out with it. I said the same thing in AEW and they never did. But it's like, I think there's another opportunity to do it here. But it's whether Punk's ego will let him do that, or whether he'll want to stay riding the hero's journey. I'll say
another point. I don't think the WWE universe are going to boo Punk.
He's got Daniel Bryan syndrome.
Yeah, I think
Punk's good. I think Punk's good enough that you can make people.
I mean, he was a heel at one point in WWE.
He was career. Straight Edge was heel. WWE Championship run. Like they managed to do it very well when he did it at his year-long reign, where the first half of the year everyone cheered him, and then as soon as he turned heel, everyone booed him. I think WWE fans, like, I don't think Punk's popular enough. Like LA Knight, LA Knight as a heel didn't work because everyone wanted to just chant his catchphrases. You can still chant Punk's catchphrases at him, but Punk is so good that I think he can cut that bitter promo that nobody else can do. Where he just, like, you saw it with I know people were kind of doing it for a laugh, but like the line about the Blackhawks last night, like, people did boo that, and it was like kind of an ironic boo, but it was still a boo. They are willing to do it.
Don't play with their sport. Don't play with American sport and then sport, man. They don't care who you are.
The Elias factor.
You want heat. Say something about the Super Science in Seattle.
That's what I'm saying.
There's still.
I know ways to piss Americans off, but I won't say it because I'll get this demonetized to high heavens. I'll keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, please don't. Just write it in the comments. That's why. No, but yeah, I think a heel Punk is the best way to go. I think it just makes sense because even though he was at one point a WWE guy, he is, with all the baggage, he's still, I think he's been recast as an outsider, if you will, even though he said he's home and whatnot. Seth Rollins is more of a WWE guy, than Punk is or ever was.
I'm trying to sit and think who was around when Punk was around the first time, and honestly, it's just Miz,
Kofi Kingston,
Kofi,
Evan Bourne, Dolph Ziggler, Zack Ryder.
All those guys are gone.
they're not still
so-
there. Some people are
So
still
it's
there.
basically.
Oh,
it's basically-
sorry, my bad. Sorry. No, I think there's only a couple people. 'Cause I remember there was like that kind of famous
Yeah,
picture.
so
and
you
they
get
all
you
have the
get
titles.
Kofi,
Orton.
the Miz,
Orton.
and
Rollins,
Orton and
Reigns,
Cena.
That's pretty much it.
If you
Cena,
want to bring
yeah.
him back from Hollywood,
Yeah.
abyss.
Paul Heyman,
So
Yeah,
the
Heyman as
Usos,
well.
and the Usos.
yeah, so there's not a lot that he can. He's basically introducing himself to new people now because he wasn't in any of those locker rooms. You could say Kevin
Yeah.
Owens and Sammy because I know at one point in time they shared a locker room, but that was
Yeah.
20 years ago. So
Yeah. Oh, do you
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
they could do? So they just dawned on me now. Could they do as a Mania feud if they don't want? I think it is going to be Punk and Rollins, but if it's not going to be Punk and Rollins, Punk and Logan Paul,
Oh my gosh.
just
I mean, to be fair, David has a
cross
problem,
promotion
like,
to the ground. Just go for
the
it.
thing is,
Why
there's a
not?
story there because the United States title is the only title Punk hasn't won in WWE. I mean, besides the NXT stuff.
You won the Intercontinental title?
No, he's
Yeah.
won the Intercontinental. He's not won the United States.
Oh,
yeah, he won.
did not
He
know
won the
that.
IC title. It was the Jericho. I like to call it the Jericho title.
Very the one with the black
before
strap.
Cody changed it. Yeah, before
Yeah.
Cody changed it.
Oh wow, that must have been super brief. I do not remember that.
I shall do some googling. Hang on.
Regal
keep
beat him
talking.
for it. Regal took the title off Punk, and Punk took it off JBL.
No googling required. Thank you, Sol.
Fair enough. Told you this guy's an avid fan of CM Punk. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
fuck off. This knowledge is getting dumped afterwards.
All right, so obviously we kind of dabbled into possible matches that we would like to see with CM Punk in the ring with in WWE now. I was just looking back at all the matches that he was in for the first few weeks again, other than Darby Allin. Obviously, in CM Punk he faced in AEW, he faced Powerhouse Hobbs, Daniel Garcia, Matt Sydal, Bobby Fish, remember that one? And then obviously, and then he came up to Eddie Kingston in the second pay-per-view. Sorry?
Such a good week-long story that was.
Oh, it was amazing. Love the promo.
That's probably one of the best short stories ever.
Yeah.
Didn't
need a long build, just needed I don't like you.
Like, you suck.
Yeah.
Your mama sucked eggs. It's like Eddie Kingston said everything. I hate you.
Pretty much.
And then it was pretty much
I
straight
don't
onto the
want you
MJF.
here. Nobody wants you here.
Kind of been far off. Going straight into kind of the MJF stuff then.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So obviously he had a pretty, he showed he was doing obviously the Dynamites and a couple rampages in between then. But yeah, just wanted to get your thoughts on like possible. What would be the first few dream matches you wanted to see from Punk before?
I don't think he wrestles before the Rumble.
You don't think so?
I think they will hold because Punk's thing when he came into AEW, his whole shtick was I want to help the younger guys, which is why he was doing Dynamite. If this is a work, the whole hypocritical side of Punk, I don't think he's wrestling until the Rumble because you sell the Rumble on that.
Yeah,
you sell the Rumble on. This is Punk's first match back, and he's going to come in and he's going to win the Rumble.
And this is one of those. He's another attraction now. We already have one.
Yeah,
they're making Gunther into an attraction. Rollins, although he is wrestling more consistently, is an attraction. This is another one to add on top of that.
Yeah. Do we have? We don't have another pay-per-view before the Rumble, no? Do we? Or PLE?
No, we don't.
Just in not main roster. NXT has one.
And I don't think you need to build a show right now on CM. What we remember is WWE are doing fantastic business even with Punk not there.
Yeah.
It's not like AEW needed the Punk boost. WWE don't.
Yeah.
WWE they've got Cody and Nakamura on the boil. That's a match I'm excited to see. You've got I think the next feud's going to be Gunther and Ivar. Like even that, which shouldn't be an attraction, is like you've got the Judgment Day stuff. You've got this is just Raw. There's loads of stuff that like they don't need it. They got Randy back. They don't need that Drew on the boil. They've got lots of really great stuff right now.
Yeah,
they can afford to have Punk do the Bray Wyatt thing of come out every week and cut a promo, or Or what would also be interesting, just have Punk backstage, because like have Punk as in do backstage segments with different wrestlers, Punk and Drew, Punk and Sammy, Punk and all those different people, because just his presence now is enough to draw a rating. For now, if that will wear thin, like it did in AEW, it will wear thin. But if you can ride that momentum for a while until the Rumble, then from the Rumble it can all go off then, because that's when it explodes. I want to see him wrestle people before then, of course I do, but I don't think they're going to.
Yeah. Well, I'll say something as well that I've been thinking as well. I think with Punk, Cody, and Jade in WWE now, I think there's a high chance that there's going to be a very big AEW exodus within the next year. I feel like Ricky Starks, he's definitely going.
I think he's gone.
Because he's just an absolute twat on fucking social media, posting like job site pages and being a little drama bitch, which I can't.
Oh, is he? Oh, wow!
If you're a wrestler,
he put up a thank you. He put up a thank you Instagram post for CM Punk when he debuted in WWE.
Oh, wow!
Exactly. Like, if you do your fucking job and stop bitching and moaning like an absolute fucking wuss.
I mean, I do think the thing with Starks is that I do think Starks will be better served in WWE than AEW.
Probably because he wants to be like a movie star and all, and he has that fucking qualities, and like that's fine. Do what you want to do.
Yeah.
I feel like I also feel like Malachi Black and Buddy Murphy are probably leaving as well, or Buddy Matthews. Those two are probably going to go as well because they're significant others in WWE as well. Andrade's probably going as well because Charlotte's there. I feel like maybe Miro might go as well because I feel like Triple H will probably give a shining to the guy.
A lot of those that were homegrown in WWE, like when you say Miro, maybe Ty Conti, because she was a homegrown out of NXT.
I don't think Ty would go just simply because Sammy's in.
I tell you who will go. Tell you who will go on the first available opportunity, and that's Keith Lee. Because Triple H will give him all the money he wants just to have Keith back on television. He loves
you're probably right there as well.
There's gonna be a lot of trading. Because there's also guys in WWE that are going to be going to AEW, and AEW is going to somewhat turn into what TNA was for a little bit. Once they get out of this, we got to be WWE's competition, because it's like a phase with wrestling companies. When they start coming in, they're the new shiny toy, and everybody's like, "Oh, we're gonna be WWE. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do great. We're gonna do great." And then they hit that wall, and shit starts going downhill, and then they're like, "Oh, you know what? Let's stop trying to be the competition and stay in our lane."
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, but another thing is as well, I feel like the momentum would have been just as high if Brawl Out never happened. Like, imagine if Brawl Out never happened.
If it never happened,
if Brawl Out never happened, Punk would still be there.
Yeah,
and I fully believe that. I don't think Brawl Out doesn't happen. I don't think Brawl In happens either. Because it's like a chain of events that just. Although the thing is, in order for Brawl Out not to happen, a lot of things would have to not happen. It's like the thing with any wrestling event is that there's so many factors. Like that Brawl, like Punk didn't just sit in that chair randomly and just go, "I've had enough." You know, like there was a build up to that. Yeah. And so there was a series of toxic things backstage in that company that led to that happening on Punk's end, on the Elite's end, on everybody's end. Yeah. And in order for any event like that to happen, there's got to be a chain. But if Punk was still hunky-dory with the company, he'd still be in AEW. And I firmly believe that.
You've seen a change of how AEW is going now, because like the Bucks, I feel like are probably in a very odd place mentally, because they've cancelled BTE, which is something that they've done for a long time, basically helped start All In, which then led to, AEW in itself. I feel like because they've cancelled that, they're probably having a look at it and thinking maybe it's time to be a bit more serious and not, people joke that when AEW started, it was all friends wrestling. But I feel like now it's sort of, maybe their passion's gone for it. That's why they're taking this leave as well. And I also feel like, as well, things are just very, very different, which is fucking weird to say. But I want to propose, just like, I feel like it's not like AEW don't have stars. They've got Bryan, they've got Mox, they've got fucking Ospreay. They've got Swerve, who I honestly think should be AEW champion next year at least. Give him the belt.
I think I don't know if it'll be the case, but if the torn labrum that MJF has told us that he has means that he does have to that he can't defend that title anymore, I think you just give it straight to Swerve, and they'll give it to Samoa Joe probably, but I think you just rocket push him.
I would
Just
say, yeah, make him win the
rocket.
Continental Classic. Definitely make
The
him win
problem with the Continental Classic is it lumbers you with that stupid title. That's the it lumbers you with that Triple Crown title, which actually means nothing. Like,
Yeah,
it's
it makes it.
Can
like,
it
it-
really
it's-
be? All right, so I have a question about that because can it be a Triple Crown championship if one of your titles doesn't belong to your company?
and one of them doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I love the
So-
Continental Classic as an idea, but the prize is so. Why wasn't the prize an AEW World Title match?
That.
Yeah,
That.
Of the winners
get
of the winners
the winner-
of at the winners choosing at the winner in a stipulation chosen by the winner. There we
No,
go.
I like the
Booked your
old school.
tournament for you.
No,
You know,
do it like TNA does the Bound for Glory series if they still do that. Winner gets the title match at what's the next one? Revolution or when's it over? Full Gear?
Revolution.
The Revolution.
Well,
Revolution.
World's Ends.
At
Technically.
World Ends. There we go. At World Ends. So
World's End will be the final, so it'll be
That.
for Revolution then.
yeah,
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. Stop trying to be like everybody else. And they pull so much from WCW, I'm surprised they haven't done this because there used to be like a thing where they would have a series of matches, or I believe it was World War III. You get a title shot at Slamboree or something.
Yeah.
Like,
The problem with that is because WWE are so protective over the likes of Roman in their championship reigns, and they have been to an extent with MJF. The problem with AEW to run that stipulation is MJF just gave Daniel Garcia a title match because he felt like it.
yeah.
It's like there were open challenges every week for 75% of the titles in this division. Hikaru Shida was giving away world title matches. Toni Storm won't. She'll make people fight for it. But like it doesn't have the same weight that it would. It's a chance to fight Roman, who is so prestigious to get a match against Roman Reigns, whether I like it or not.
It's all the baby faces that are giving the open challenges.
Yeah.
The heels don't. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, which is absolutely fine. I mean, Julia Hart is, but that's an open challenge title because it's TBS title, which is a different thing.
Yeah.
I want to propose something to you right now as well, guys. What are your thoughts on MGF now jumping ship? Because before Punk went there,
he's not moving.
I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking 60% maybe he goes.
AEW
I think
needs
he's
to.
signed. I think he's signed.
I think
but
he's
he's also super young. So even after that contract's up, he still should have time to go to WWE. I do think he'll go.
I'm telling you what is very bizarre, though. That was very bizarre about this is that from if he hasn't re-signed, his contract expires on January the 1st,
Yeah.
2024. There's been
Yes.
absolutely no mention of the bidding war of 2024 at all, and a match has been booked for World's End, which is the last, which is on like December 30th or whatever. You'd think if that was a major storyline, because like the only reason you do the bidding war of 24 storyline is if MJF wins, sorry, if AEW wins. So there is a possible argument to be made of, well, it's not being mentioned; it's just gone quiet. It was mentioned after the Omega match, but then it kind of never reared its head again, and that was only to the live crowd.
Yeah.
So as well is, if you look at the All In poster for next year, he's not on it, which is a bit weird.
Yeah, that's why I kind of wish. That's why I kind of wish that they did something of like, but only that we would have to imply that MJF was heel at the time at World's End. The fact that obviously the bidding war 2024 is coming up, he's still the champ. But they just randomly put this pay-per-view right at the end of the year. So Tony Khan is trying to like find a way to get the title off MJF because he's a free agent pretty much from January 1st. Bro, everyone that is starting to have beef with him all of a sudden, he's Wardlow is coming for him, Joe is coming for him, the Devil's coming for him, whoever it is, Jay White, Swerve, all these people put him in a gauntlet and someone take the title off him.
Yeah.
They really missed the ball with that one.
Yeah. But unfortunately, they can't do that because from a logistical standpoint, the champion is injured, like legitimately injured.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I wish he was heel right now for them to actually probably run it, and if he wasn't injured.
Yeah. From like I said, so from a safety perspective, they don't want to put him in that position, which I understand.
Yeah,
and it's all a bit of a mess right now, to be honest.
Or stay with me here. Why don't we pull out that big blood and guts cage and have their own version of a 6-way Hell in a Cell match?
Armageddon Hell in a Cell.
Yeah. It's a good safer way to get him.
Drizzy? I think
Yeah,
you're onto
flipping-
something there.
Didn't
But
someone
I-
go in there on their ACL?
So here's how I would do it. On this upcoming Dynamite, announce MJF for like an undress or something like that, right? MJF does his thing, and he's like, I am injured, but I'm still going to defend it. And then later on in the night, we see MJF laid out, and the Devil's just standing over him, right? Full mask and everything. And then it's announced by Tony Khan on like Rampage to get the viewers or Collision. Like MJF is too injured, so he has been stripped of the AEW World Championship, right? That way, MJF can go and get, if he's signed, or whatever, send him away, get surgery and healed up, and then does his thing. And then we get what Drizzy said, basically like that Hell in a Cell or Armageddon match. Say like Wardlow, Wardlow, Joe, Wardlow, Joe, Strickland, maybe Jay White, and even Brian. But the one person has to be in it is the Devil. Say the Devil's now like going to be in it, right? So the Devil's masked up and all that, right? They do the match and everything, and the Devil wins and he pins Joe or something like that. Let's say Joe. And when, Tony Khan does like the whole ceremony thing, he comes down and has the title, he gets knocked out by the Devil, and the Devil's Adam Cole. So basically, it leads to like Adam Cole is basically getting MJF to be more open with his matches and more defending so he could wear him down and take the title off him. Then if MJF is, re-signed, he can come back, and that's your feud there, which is Adam Cole versus MJF for the title.
Get in my head, soul.
It's all right. I live there now. Fuck it.
Rent free.
It's
a great idea. It's a great idea. It's just,
Definitely.
it's like I said, a bit of a mess right now. That whole story. Anyway, Punk.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. I mean,
we're talking about Punk.
Right, did anyone say in their dream matches? We didn't even really look into that. Like, what matches besides Rollins? Let me go start with you, David. What the fuck?
60 minutes. Yeah, 6 week long or best of 7 series. Punk versus Tozawa in various matches. We have a blindfold match, then a Kennel from Hell match, then a hog pen match. Bra and panties on the 4th week.
All right, I said I don't care. I'll give you 3 so you have answers. LA Knight, Miz, and Cody Rhodes.
Cody is the one for me. Yeah, I want to see Cody and Punk.
Because imagine Cody being like, "Oh, so you came over here after you bit my best friend on the arm," and shit like that, and then that's like the feud and all that. I mean, it would be entertaining.
I want to see, from a personal perspective, after All In, I'd very much like to see CM Punk locked in a steel cage with Gunther, where they just, or like a Hell in a Cell with Gunther, and just like have all the every wrestler on the roster surround the ring so we can't go anywhere, and just call it like a shoot, brother.
Just chop his chest to this red meat.
I'm not advocating violence. Seriously though, I really want to. Like,
of course, we're advocating violence.
Everyone's just trying to
I advocate fake violence, staged violence, darling. I want to see, like, it's annoying because a lot of the matches I want to see Punk and Chad Gable, I want to see Punk and Johnny Gargano, I want to see all those things. But they need to kind of be Gable. I think is more likely. I think Gargano's locked in the tag division. I think they could do. They're going to bound to do a Punk on Judgment Day at some point, aren't they? Everyone else,
with
them.
Punk. They're going to try and recruit him. That's what they're going to do.
Punk and Drew. There's loads of matches that I want to see Punk have. Like I said, from a talent perspective, there's 75% of the roster would be. Well, they made loads of them. Punk and bloody Bronson Reed would make a great match. It's there's such a talented roster, and Punk's such a talented guy. It's just my personal feelings towards him as a person that I find that make me question and make me frustrated. It's not his thing as a talent. Because as a talent, I think we can all agree that he's great. Mm-hmm. It's just the reasons that the personal reasons for not liking
the good thing about it. The good thing about it is that with WWE style, I think that there's less of a chance that he would get injured. You don't really hear many people get injured in WWE these days. There was one point when it was that Mania
we just had 2 different returns from injury on the same night, Chaos.
But that's
R-Truth and Randy come back on the same day from injury.
I know. Actually get injured in WWE. Wasn't that was it Big E? Was Big E the last person to actually get injured, or was it Ray?
It was
a major injury.
Ray. It was Ray. Ray was the
Ray's
last person
yeah.
to get legit hurt, and then
Yeah.
then after that was Big E. But there's like a year-long gap in between that.
That's what I'm saying. There was one point in time where, like, I remember it was the Mania that when The Rock set his name on fire, and I was there. The most
32.
32, yeah, that one. And yeah, they were everyone was injured.
Yeah, Balor
Cesaro.
hurt. Yeah, everybody was hurt. Balor was hurt. Rollins was hurt.
Didn't Nikki
Every-
Bella
Cesaro.
on a neck brace for like the
Say again?
Divas Battle Royale shit? She on a neck brace.
Yep.
Who?
Nikki Bella. At that
Yeah,
32.
yeah.
I will
so
give
yeah,
this a
it was.
fair point.
But a lot of those.
AEW
But what you notice with a lot of those injuries, they're from doing a move over and over and over again.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's not like a one time he did it and it hurts. Nothing like that. It's from like something you've done over and over again, and it's just the repetitive nature of it. This is the time it gave out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the just looking at the injury list for WWE, Rey Mysterio is injured, Luke Gallows is injured, Sheamus, Brock's apparently injured, Sonya Deville,
Brock gets
Dakota
hurt.
Kai, Sol Ruka, Braun Strowman, Wendy Chu, Nikita Lyons, Robert Roode, and Big E. Those are the guys that are on the injury list, which is actually not bad at all.
Yeah, that's actually a
Considering
small list.
And a
it's
couple of
small
those.
list. If we go to the AEW one,
let's just ignore that. Let's ignore that. Yeah, because let's just ignore that.
yeah, AEW was MJF, Juice Robinson, Mark Davis, Sammy Guevara, Adam Cole, Pac Bandito, Jamie Hayter, Parker Woodrow. He's still with the company. Paige Van Zandt, she's still with the company. Kyle O'Reilly and Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, Paige Van Zandt ain't injured. She's too busy doing the other thing.
She doesn't work there.
Yeah, she don't work there. She's only there by name.
Parker Woodrow. It's the next Brock Lesnar.
Parker Woodrow. He could have been.
He's still on the injury list. The other lad was released from AEW. The guy with all the tattoos.
Oh, that's the one. Yeah. Sorry.
The Parker Woodrow one hurts because they missed the mark on that one.
Both companies missed the mark on him. Both companies. So I don't know. I don't know if it's
both companies. If both companies miss the mark, does it come back down on you?
That's what I'm saying. Is it him? Like,
yeah,
I don't know, because if he got hurt in AEW, that's one thing. But NXT, they made him.
They shaved his head and shaved his eyebrows and called him Harland.
Yeah,
Gunnar Harland. Oh god,
how you don't start?
It was Joe Gacy's second, wasn't he?
Yeah,
it was. He was just some fucking lackey. Jesus
the moment he came into NXT, I'm like, oh, they definitely have to put Parker and Braun Breaker as a tag team and make them like the World Destroyers or something, and then break off into a feud from there. I had it booked out for a year. They were going to run rampant on the tag team division for 6 months, and then somewhere along the line, they break apart, and it's a main event for the NXT title at that point.
Yeah.
I know he was lucky for Joe Gacy, and then lucky for Swerve. So he's just lucky for everybody else, really, isn't he?
Yeah.
Lucky for Brian Cage, lucky for Swerve, lucky for everybody. Bizarre. Very bizarre.
Either way.
That's crazy. He's a lackey for a lackey. That's crazy.
It's sad but true. Well, yeah, it's either way. I'm very going back to CM Punk. I'm very curious to see what matches they'll pop out the bag. I'm fine with waiting till Rumble. If they play it well, do meaningful promos and whatnot, or if not, yeah, I'm cool with just a random throwaway match here and there.
I think if you can build credibly that, like, if you could put Punk and Rollins against each other on promos, and you put you have Cody talk about how much he wants Roman, that's two people who can realistically win that Rumble, and that's a starting point. And then you can just add more people in then over the top, like Drew and all that. Because I do think, I genuinely think only two people are going to win this Rumble now, and it's Cody or
Punk.
Cody or Punk.
Yeah.
And so if you build those two, then it's more than some years. When you can tell from the 10 months before. Although you could build up Solo as another person who can win the Rumble.
Solo, I think it would be like one of the longest in there.
Yeah, but I think you could realistically, if you build that tension within the bloodline, then Jimmy and Solo can both become potential winners of the Rumble, and then that's 4 people, because you haven't had Roman Jimmy and you haven't had Roman Solo, so that's up to 4 people that can realistically win it. And I actually think for the women's Rumble, there's a lot more people who could realistically win it, which I think is interesting. Oh, and you've also got potentially Finn Balor. There's another could win the men's rumble if you want to do it, but it depends on whether Priest cashes in. Because if Priest takes the title off Rollins, and that puts a completely different spin on everything.
Tell you what, right now, I want this to happen just to fuck over Punk. Punk and Rollins main event night 1 of WrestleMania. Punk wins the title off Seth, and he gets cashed in by Damian Priest.
So he technically doesn't have the main event. I actually think what might happen is I think Priest might take the title off Rollins, and I think Punk and Rollins might just wrestle.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be for the title.
Because in which case, then I think it could be Priest versus Balor for the title, which means that Balor could win the Rumble.
It makes sense,
and that's 5 who could win the Rumble, and already just building names of people who could win the Rumble.
It depends. I mean, because sometimes you might not have to. Balor might not have to win the Rumble. He could use the space him at Mania. It might not be the main event. It would just be
the way, like when I was booking Cody and Roman 2, I pulled out the old AEW trick and said only if Cody is winning. Do not do this if he is not winning. But my thing was do the AEW thing of if I can't beat you, I'll never challenge for that title.
Oh, that again. Oh gosh, yeah.
And it's a bad stipulation if Cody then can't challenge for the title. But what it does it added drama to the Cody Jericho match. It was the wrong decision to have him do it, but it did add drama to that match. I think it would add drama if that's the only way he could get a match. Do the Undertaker Shawn Michaels route of just have Roman just say no.
That was a bad angle, but it gave one of the best shots.
I'll throw something crazy out there. How about this? How about Roman says, like, I'll give you the title match, but your father has to be removed from the Hall of Fame if you lose. So it's like his dad's legacy's on the line.
I think that's not really. It's not. I don't think that's a big enough peril in the sense.
Fuck it, delete his shit from the network then. Fuck it, I don't know.
The thing is, the Hall of Fame. It doesn't exist, does it?
Yeah.
It's a construct that's been made up by WWE. They've still done the induction ceremony. It's like he's not alive to have him come out and Dusty's gone. So it's like I don't think that it would be enough to motivate somebody like Cody, but for an audience, I don't think that's probably enough.
If there was a physical Hall of Fame, inject that into my veins. Yes,
it's in Saudi Arabia. If you want to go for the flight, go ahead. I heard.
The WWE experience. Oh yeah,
I'm not going over there.
It sounds like something they'd put in Disney, in like downtown Disney or Disney Springs in Florida. They got the NBA experience. It feels like one of those. They could stuck it in Saudi Arabia instead.
Pretty much. You nailed it on the head, Dave.
When you had the Undertaker experience at Clash at the Castle.
Oh yeah,
to which I took one look at the queue and went. I asked the guy in the end of the queue, "How long is the queue?" The guy working there, he said about 3 hours, and I went, "Nah, you're all right. You're all right. It's a couple of bloody shirts and a couple of props. Nah, I'm not paying. I'm not waiting queuing 3 hours for that."
Yeah, fuck that.
I mean, I'll finish up my thoughts on Punk because I really don't want to give this guy any more 2 cents in my mind. And also, my drink's running empty here. I will say, I'm excited to see him back in the 2K games.
Yeah.
Because those CAWs are horrible. Oh god.
No, not really. There's some decent.
No, I'm just glad I get to say one more spot now. Thank fuck. I don't have to.
Yeah. You know how many? Do you know how many images his tattoos take up?
Yeah.
Christ.
It's to the point with 2K. Sometimes it's like, nah, bro, we can't do it. There's no more space.
My bad. That's a first world problem. I don't have enough spots to hold all his logos. Like,
fair dues. Well, thank you very much for your comments about CM Punk. But speaking of wrestling games, do you think we got enough time to do one quick one? 20 questions?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Let's just take a mile away from.
I think you like doing these things with me anymore.
Yeah. That's cool. You might as well keep. Let's see if we can keep the streak going in this one. All right, cool. So, if you haven't seen this before, we're doing video game or wrestling video game 20 questions, and basically these guys get 20 questions to ask me. I give them a yes or no answer. They can either usable their questions or let me know what it is. If they get it right, then that's fine. If they lose, then they lose. One shot kills, and this is pretty much, this covers every single wrestling game that has come out in existence. Please stay away from Google. I know when you're looking in your screens, so please don't do that. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started.
Okay.
Who's starting?
Shall I ask?
David, you know how this works. David's
I
gonna
ask-
ask this question
Shall I ask
first.
the first question? Because I ask
Go
this
ahead.
question every single time. Is it a WWE or affiliated? So WWF, WWF, any of its other names game?
Is it a WWE or WWF game? Is that right? Is that what you're asking?
How pedantic are you getting now?
Is it owned by
Do I need to say, is it a
WWE?
WWE, WWF?
Okay, got it.
WWE?
Sorry, you confused me with all the W's. Yes.
Yes, okay, that's a start.
It is
I'll go
owned by
next.
Can
WWE.
I ask the second
want-
question?
Yeah,
Just so
go,
I
no,
can-
you go.
Just so I can rule it out for me, is it a wrestling game?
No.
Oh, you bastards! If you
It's fucking crash.
it's not a. So there's a couple of things it could be. Question number. Can I ask the third question?
Rad
Is
away.
it a card game?
No.
Oh, I feel like he's baiting me. I feel like he's baiting me with it.
And get the super card.
I'm gonna let you
Wait,
take it. I'm gonna put my
Okay,
feet up. I'm
can
gonna
I ask the
relax.
fourth question?
Oh, it's going in.
That's the fourth question.
It's on you,
Does the
bud.
game involve cars?
Does it involve cars? You say?
Cars, as in driving cars.
That's a. I don't know about that question.
Yes.
No, David, be
feel like
careful.
he's-
Wait,
I
there-
feel like I'm being
all right, there's
baited.
one-
I feel like I'm
there's-
being baited.
All right, hold on. Before we go any further, is this a SmackDown versus Raw game?
No.
I'll do one here. Was this game released on the PlayStation 2?
Yes. That's 6 questions.
All right.
Okay, so Crush. So talking amongst ourselves, Crush Hour was released on the PlayStation 2 because I own it. So
But you could. There was a SmackDown game where you could actually grab somebody and
yeah, but it's not a wrestling game.
Okay, yeah.
We've already asked that question. It's not a wrestling game.
David, you want to go for it, mate? Because it's all you, bud. I trust you.
I mean, if this is the thing I don't want it to be the one to break the streak. That's the issue.
My streak is in your hands, Dave.
If he's, I don't know if Chaos is baiting me with it because he knows that that's what I'm going to think it is, and that there's actually a secret second PlayStation 2 game that isn't a wrestling game that somehow involves cars. Because I don't know of any other. I don't know
Well,
of
who
any
was
other game.
on the Crush Hour roster? Maybe ask that as a question.
I can't remember. I never actually played the game.
Oh, yeah. You haven't played the game.
own
You're fascinated by answering it. Like what?
Yes, because I thought it'd be funny the first time.
Now the streak's
can
in
I
your
ask-
hands.
can I
It's
ask
not
you-
funny
can
anymore.
I ask
It's
you-
serious.
Can I ask a question? Because I think I worded it slightly wrong. So I'm just going to We've got 13 questions to play with. So am I all right to just fuck around for a sec?
Oh, there you go.
Does the game involve monster trucks?
Yes.
Yeah, it's got to be, isn't it?
Unless
gotta be.
WCW had a fighting game.
It's
that
not a
had monster trucks in
WCW
it.
game. I asked, was it a WWE or WWF game, and he said yes. I think it is. And if it's not, I'm sorry, but unless anybody else has got a better answer, I'm going for it.
I
Just go with it,
don't.
bro.
I don't have any other better answers.
No,
to
I
keep
think
testing
I
you
feel
out.
like he's gonna be. I feel like he's baiting me.
because Crush Hour
But-
was such a individual type game. So
Yeah. Can I go for it? If we're wrong, I'm sorry.
Go,
go ahead.
go.
Is it Crush Hour?
Yes, it is.
Yes!
It got to a point.
It's finally Crush Hour. It's
It got to.
finally Crush Hour.
It was one of those things where like we asked so many times it couldn't possibly be. It couldn't possibly be.
That's why I held back on this one. I couldn't help it. I was just like, yeah, he's gonna lose his shit when he finds out this is Crush Hour. Yes,
I just felt like I was being baited. I was convinced I was and that you'd secretly gone into the archives and found something that none of us had ever heard of.
I was just like, yeah, definitely. This is gonna fuck him up. Definitely. Yes, WWE Crush Hour. It's a vehicular combat game made by THQ in 2003. Came out in the GameCube and PlayStation 2. And Xbox version was canceled. And yeah, they had monster trucks, they had SUVs, muscle cars in there. And fun note, Chris Benoit had a modified ATV. Do that with what you will. But yeah,
Big Show was in the game. Kane was in the game, I think. But I think
I think Steve Austin was the only one that had a monster truck. Yeah, he was the only one that had a monster truck.
That makes
Everyone
sense.
else had SUVs and ATVs.
Big Show would have had one.
No, he had a big rig.
His whole debut was built around being in a monster truck.
Yeah. In the words of Brian Zane, and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing the trucks back and forth.
Oh my gosh! All right, so you did that with 7. That was a bit too easy because just all right. One more. Can I do one more? One more. I promise.
Yes, one more. All right.
Let's do one more. All right, cool.
Was it? No, I'm joking.
Was it Crush Hour 2? No. Yeah, go ahead.
We ready?
Yep.
Okay. Question number 1. Chaos, my good sir. Is the game a WWE, WWF, WWF game? I don't think they went any further back than that. So
No.
Okay. That's a
I'll go
start.
next. Is this a TNA game?
No.
Okay. Rules out the one game they had. Is it a wrestling game?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Is it an AEW game?
Fuck no.
Is it
What's
a
the game? Sorry, go on, Drizzy.
Is it a WCW game?
Yes, it is. That's 5 questions.
Okay. So that narrows it down
because I don't know any of the WCW games.
I know there's a couple. So Chaos, was it a PlayStation 1 game?
Yes.
That narrows it down to 3.
Okay, what 3 does it narrow it down to, Drizzy?
WCW Nitro, WCW Thunder, and WCW Mayhem.
I've got
Okay,
this.
can I ask
Chaos.
a question then?
Do you want to go, David?
I just got one question. Is the game based? Is the name of the game a television show?
No.
Mayhem then, because the other 2 were Nitro and Thunder.
Cool.
Unless they're being pedantic.
Let me ask one more question just to be on the safe side.
Okay.
Does the game have recorded taunts?
Does the game have recorded taunts?
Yeah, so like at the character screen,
just to fuck with Chaos, because he's gonna have to go research that now, isn't he?
at the character screen, if you hit a button, it has a taunt and it'll do like a short promo on why you should pick this person.
Oh, bear with me.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Bear with me.
My only thing that I didn't really think of when answering that question about, and maybe I'm overthinking, but if it is kind of Nitro and Thunder, is that technically they were called, Monday Nitro? Whether he's just done that to piss with us.
Oh, he's not going to be that stingy.
I don't trust him.
You shouldn't.
I know for a good time. He's simple.
Oh shit! Where's the volume? So you don't.
Just come on, Monday Nitro. It's Crush Up.
No,
it doesn't. It's Mayhem.
It is Mayhem.
It's Mayhem.
Absolutely certain it's Mayhem.
Absolutely sure.
Okay, Drizzy, give your answer because I'm not fucking this up.
Is the game WCW Mayhem?
No, it's not.
What?
It's not. You got it wrong. The streak is over. It is actually WCW.
You better not say World Tour. You better not say World Tour.
WCW versus the World.
Oh my God.
Yes, WCW versus the World.
That one.
came out in December 1997 on the PlayStation 1.
Because that's the one that came out with World Tour, isn't it? Oh,
yeah,
because World Tour came out on 64. That came out. God damn it.
yeah. I'll put you up. I'll show up a clip for you guys.
Well,
and
it
you can
wasn't
see
me,
what-
so I'll take the. I'm good for this.
All
Was
good things
that-
must come to
Drizzy,
an
you
end.
say, Drizzy, my friend, you saved us on so many questions on this thing. We'll
But that's you
It's
never
like
hear anybody
Drizzy's-
talk
I
about
feel like
that.
Drizzy's now that Napoleon meme, like there's nothing we could do as he draws in the sand.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't say if this was good. Well, you can tell by the graphics. Probably it wasn't. That
It
good.
was. It wasn't.
I can't tell if this was good. As they
Was this
both
the one we
frantically
played,
miss
All In?
at each
Chaos?
other, trying to hit them in the face.
It wasn't. But this is
Wait,
why.
so-
But this was at the time when N64 wrestling games were way better than the PlayStation games.
Oh yeah. In the dumps.
No, see, there's,
like,
there's something that I think that's a little bit more kind of pressing than anything that's going on in the gameplay, and that's why Chaos, you have your own song as your top recommended on the right hand side of the screen. How
So if you like,
someone's
this,
gotta
then
listen
you
to it.
he's got
Someone's gotta listen to it.
yeah, you're all 4.9 thousand views. They're all you.
It's us in the loop in the background. Don't watch that. Leave me alone. Moving on. Fucking YouTube and these algorithms.
There's been a little cheeky update, if you guys want to hear it, about
Go ahead.
something. Hangman Page has posted to his Instagram a reel of him, and do you know what the song is with his reel?
Go ahead.
NDA by Megan Thee Stallion.
Indeed. Wow. Okay.
Oh, he's
Cowboy shit, baby. Cowboy shit. That's why he's my favorite wrestler.
he's hilarious and unbothered at the exact same time.
Yeah, that's what it is, pretty much. But it clearly was bothered because if anything, he's the one that started the whole mess in AEW with CM Punk.
But
So-
nobody would have knew if Punk didn't go flying off the handle. You know how confused we were at first, and like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah.
Then he said,
Yeah.
go back and listen to that promo. Oh, we didn't know.
Yeah, that flew out everyone's heads. But yeah, it was.
Am I making a
And
big
then-
deal of it? All it made us do was go, "Oh, they did say that, yeah,
Yeah.
you're right as well." And I was like, it's almost like if you don't say anything, no one remembers, and these things fade away.
Yeah, 100%. All right, well, I'm leave it there. I'm happy that I've broken the streak. So at your own hand, Drizzy. So it's all good. Better luck
sir.
next time. But yeah, as always, thank you very
If it had
much,
been
David. Thank you. Oh, go on.
I was just going to say, if it had been left to me, we'd have got 0 WCW games because I don't know a single one. So for Drizzy to
Besides
be able
Crush
to name
Hour.
3 was more than I could ever have done. So thank you, Drizzy.
Well, hey, it's been fun. You know, you guys are, I like to think of it, you guys are a daily guys. I'm more of a take it guy, you know, kind of like collision guy, you know.
I kind of live in my own world now. I'm not even really on daily too much more.
Well,
I'm a
I mean,
table guy
there's
myself.
hopefully,
I'm not meant to be
hopefully
here.
I'll still be living on the daily, and I'll still be
I
living on
am-
take it. But hopefully, I'll be living in a third space, a more singular space of things to do, perhaps with some wrestling films.
Oh,
I thought you were going to say delicious DDTs. Go on.
Well,
That's
Delicious
what we're
DDTs is still a work in progress, but it is the working title for another project that I'm currently working on. So
Well,
stay tuned
Regular
to the Wrestling
Hollow.
Republic channel for that.
Sweet.
Wow, I'm just here on my own island with like coconut beer and, you know, the soul sessions. I'm just like, yeah.
Coconut beer and replica titles.
It's a fun
Definitely.
island. No, it does its own thing. It's got its own economy.
And speaking of the Soul Sessions, any upcoming news for you, Soul?
Yeah, I'm currently doing my little journey to 100, which is a journey to my 100th episode. So if you go on the Soul Sessions Instagram at the Soul Sessions Official, I have 4 guests that will be returning from season 1, which is episode 1 to 29. So the first guest returning is Ashley Vega, who is a Scottish wrestler who talks about her experience doing the TNA gut check. And basically talking about how the Scottish scene right now is pretty much exploding, and she feels like 2024 could basically be the Scottish shining moment for its wrestling scene. And a few of the other ones are always good to come back as well. I have James Ellis, the Brilliance. He talks about basically dominating the Welsh scene and doing a GCW show as well. And he basically says he was kind of shocked with how those fans were, because someone had a sign that said Ellis is a sheep shagger. So yeah, he talks about how they're a very fun bunch. I have Devin, who's the owner of No Mercy Wrestling. He's coming back to talk about what the school's been doing and their first couple of shows as well. And he also talks about an Adrian Street, who was a Welsh legend who sadly passed away this year. Talks about what he meant to the scene as well. And finally, I have Real and Raw August Artois coming back, and he basically talks about what EC3 and CYN have been up to since things have been happening. So yeah, stay tuned for that.
Fair dues. Cool. So jam-packed episodes coming from the Soul Sessions very, very, very soon on this journey to episode 100. Another episode coming out shortly after this one will be the tier list of King of the Ring winners as well. That'll be coming out very, very, very soon. So be on the lookout for that. Also, be sure to check out Drizzy on not only on the daily, but also on Off the Air. That comes on Wrestling Off the Air. Comes on after NXT. And then as of this recording, he'll be on tonight, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
At 10:15 p.m.
There you go. Yep. Eastern, yep, with the Clark Taylor and of course Shad as well. Be sure to check that out. And David, of course, you'll hear him obviously rant and rave on the Daily Show, as well as the next project that is tentatively named, or that's a work in progress, Delicious DDTs. Patent pending. But yeah, other than that, I have been your host, Chaos. He has been David Sheldon. Down below has been Soul, and over there has been Drizzy. This has been Taken to the Table, guys. Peace. See ya, Punk. See. No, I'm joking. No, I'm playing.
Fuck off.